something I've actually wanted to do for quite some time, and I know that over the past couple years I've been asked to do this by a few people, and that's to actually do a room collection video. A couple things. One, the collection definitely is not as impressive as it used to be. It definitely does not have as much stuff anymore. The other one is that I do have things that are not necessarily on display, but are in storage. But regardless of that fact, I think there are some cool things in here that you guys might like to see. And I'm sure I'm going to be launching into stories of how I found this or how I got that. And that's always kind of, I always find that, kind of fun to talk about. So thank you for joining me on Room Tour 16. Yeah, that sounds like a good title. Let's go with that. Room Tour 16. So this is the measly autograph wall. This is Nakajima's autograph, actually. The guy that was the suit actor for Godzilla from 1954, the original movie, all the way up to, I think, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster. This has already made an appearance on a couple times on the show. This is the Guyver 2 Dark Hero call sheet that I won a couple years ago off of eBay. And I actually got David Hayter, Solid Snake himself, also the main character in Guyver 2 Dark Hero, to autograph it. And we swing over here to Azumi 2. That's actually, I don't think it's a theater program, I could be wrong, but it's in Azumi 2 something or other that was signed by the director, Shusuke Kaneko. Kaneko was actually the director of the Gamera trilogy, which, as I think most of you know who watch this channel, I am just completely enamored with. That would be Tak Sakaguchi, the star of Versus, which was Kitamura's first movie. I am a huge Battlestar Galactica fan. Last year at the Phoenix Comic-Con, they actually had Katie Sackhoff, Mary McDonnell, and Edward James Olmos come. And needless to say, I kind of peed my pants when I read all this. And unfortunately, even though we already had tickets bought and everything, I had to bail out at last minute because I got really sick. Had to even go to an emergency room visit, and managed to miss it, which really, really sucked. However, my best friend Ryan, who I'm actually going to be mentioning multiple times here in this video, just because of the things that he's done on other things, he went and actually bought me this as a birthday present, and he actually got Edward James Olmos's autograph, which just says, Matt, stay strong, know I'm with you, so say we all, and then, Edward James Olmos. And that was pretty freaking cool. But the other really cool thing about this, because this guy is my favorite character and actor in Battlestar, is that it's also signed by Michael Hogan, who also played Colonel Tai in the series. So the fact that, have a autograph that's signed by both of them is I don't know, it's pretty freaking awesome. Speaking of Battlestar, that's a Battlestar Galactica poster that was given to me by my buddy Billy Horn. A King Kong vs. Godzilla poster that I don't remember where I got that from. It's not an original. Little shocker grunt plastic mask that we found at Lulu Bell's in downtown Mesa. A bunch of those, I'm going to butcher the word here, but I think it's called Chiashi mini posters. A couple Ultraman ones. The Gavin versus Go Kaiju one, All Riders versus Die Shocker double bill with the Shinkenger movie, Movie Wars 2010, very first Movie Wars, that sad Chow Den-O movie that Decade was in for all about 30 seconds. Well, this was actually the first one I ever got. This is Mothra 3. Just love the design of Ghidorah on there. Godzilla 2000, which I won right around the time of the movie on another website. I don't remember what the site was called. But the prize was a mini poster and that ticket that you actually see in there. It's an unused ticket to go see the movie at the premiere. That's a sad little find. That was a VR Troopers loot bag thing that I found at a Goodwill. In fact, you can still see the stupid price tag up there. We descend down to, again, a terrible, terrible glare. Tell you what, I wonder if I can do this. This was a really beautiful print that Ryan, again, my best friend, bought me for, I think, Christmas. This actually appeared way long time ago in an episode. It's actually changing stickers. It's one of those things where you turn it to one side, it's Gokai Red, and then you turn it around again, and then it changes to, Aka Ranger. More Gokaiju stuff. Again, this is something that has appeared very, very early on, along with those stickers. A pencil case, ruler, eraser, and like I said, pencil set. Swing right to that. Another thing that's appeared on the show. Happy New Year's card from the Guyver movie, Guyver 1991. So below that, we got where the movies are kept. This is, I forget the brand, but obviously molded after the Jurassic Park T-Rex. Incredibly cool toy, especially when you consider the fact that it's probably the best rendition of that monster. And to the left of that was my Christmas present from my girlfriend. So we went to Sedona, maybe March of last year. And Sedona is it's a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place, first of all. There's a lot of, touristy art galleries where, you'll walk in and see this sculpture that you think is really cool, and you look at the price tag and you're like, you know what, I don't need one that costs $50,000. And you see a lot of that down there. But we saw one that was just absolutely incredible. It was called the Essence of Rex, and it was this hyper-detailed Tyrannosaurus where on one side it was, its skin and how we would imagine a T-Rex would look, and then on its other half, it was completely the skeleton structure. For Christmas, the girlfriend actually made this beautiful, beautiful piece, which is, she calls it the Essence of Battle, because she even admits to, ripping off the Essence of Rex. And on one side, it's the, the skin, and on the other, it is completely skeletal. The same thing goes for it's a little harder to see on the Triceratops, just because of the fact of the placement of it. I don't know, it means a lot to me just because of the fact that it was made specifically for me. It's unique, there's not, another one like it. And it's just beautiful. Like, it just meant so much that she would take the time to do that. Now we come to this thing. This case. Actually, I guess we'll start behind it first. This was also featured on a very early episode of Monstrosities, and that is a costume of Jaspion. Let's open her up. It actually came with 2 sets of keys. Ooh! This is where the majority of my Guyver stuff resides. I think all of these at one point or another, maybe with the exception of the Guyver 2 right there, as well as the Figma, have made an appearance on this show. Recently just acquired this bad boy. Let's see here. Vamor, which is an incomplete vinyl model. Down below that, you got a little collection of a couple different things here. Down there is a Guyver 2 keychain. Metacom Hokkaider, which we did a full review on. Gregel, which is one of the newest additions to the collection. And then one of my favorite Zoonoids of all time, which is, he's unfortunately missing his, might actually be missing a tooth too, I don't know. But he's also missing his antenna. That is Enzyme 1, the Guyver Killer. And it looks like a giant potato. As Miss Rosie from Niagara Falls has previously mentioned in this. But this is Enzyme 2. This is what the next stage of evolution, I guess. Back there is Jaspion, which we've done a review on. Darzurb, another member of Hyperzoonoid Team 5. Swinging down here, got some random uglies. We have the SIC version of Doras and Doras Red version, as well as the SH Figuarts Doras, the SH Figuarts Predator Wolf from Alien vs. Predator Requiem, and a NECA Aliens Warrior. It's an Aliens Warrior because it's from the movie Aliens and not the first one. So this guy, which I'm sure some of you recognize, has a hell of a story. Every piece of this dude was found some way, somehow, at multiple thrift shops over the course of maybe like 3 to 4 years, including that damn helmet. I found the Red Dragon Thunder Zord, which was already transformed into the robot mode, with this piece attached to it, and the Griffin part. 6 months after that, all of a sudden found the Zord attack team. Fortunately, the leg's not sticking up, but that's okay. Which included the unicorn. I forgot what this thing was, but the 2 things that made the legs, the Firebird, which is in the back, it was missing some of the tips on the wings, and then just one of the pieces of the Lion's Claw, which turns into the hand mode of this guy. I remember having this conversation with TJ Omega at the time when I found this stuff. I'm like, man, wouldn't it just be awesome to find like all this all these other pieces and just eventually get like a complete Zord. And Tyler was like, dude, there's no way you're going to be able to do that, especially with the helmet alone. Well, look at what we got right there. He's not wearing the helmet because he doesn't have enough headspace. At Collector's Marketplace, which has also appeared on the show and we've talked about, they had a Power Ranger display case where they had this piece and that piece right there. So I inquired about the price for the pieces, and the guy's like, I'll sell them to you for $5. I'm like, a piece? And he's like, no, for both. Of course, those things can't attach without the actual helmet piece, this black thing right here. Out of just the most random and purest of luck. I mean, this is one of those things that just sounds too good to be true, and sometimes I gotta wonder. Went to this Goodwill that's really close to my house that had nothing that day. You know, they have these bins for like, you know, bag 5 toys for $1, and those bins were empty except for this piece right here. And I'm like, no effing way. He's still a work in progress, though. I mean, I still got to get that other arm piece, and I wouldn't mind trying to get the swords and stuff, but you know, maybe one day he'll be complete, and that would be really freaking awesome. More Ranger stuff. It's an original 93 Dragon Zord right there that's missing some pieces, and that's also the 93 Megazord. Iris, Konami Iris, we did a whole episode on her. So now we go to the top of this thing, where we have a couple of random Godzilla toys. It's a Trendmasters Giant Godzilla, a little 6-inch Imperial Godzilla that thing, I want to say, came out in '85. This is actually the only piece of Godzilla 2014 merchandise I have now. And mostly because I had too much, and I think this one is the definitive version, in my opinion. It's the NECA 24-inch. Evangelist did a really nice review on it. Let's see if I can play around here and see if I can get him to talk. It's somewhere down here. Where is it? There we go. What's here? More presents from my buddy Ryan. He found these at Bookman's as well. These are Tokusatsu Hot Wheels. He dug around a little bit more and actually found Kamen Rider Ichigo and Cyclone. After that, he also found Kamen Rider V-Shari. So then below that, SD finger puppets of Go Busters. This was something that was actually a Lulubell's find. Uh-oh, I just knocked down the little plastic. At the very top here, we kind of spun all the way around. There's Mechagodzilla back there. That's the Imperial Godzilla, the big one that they did. That's probably my oldest played with toy. But next to him is Grand King Ghidorah from Mothra 3. That was something I got from Japan, or shipped from Japan some time ago. X Plus Gauss, that was something that I know we've talked about on here. The Mothra Larva from, let's see here if I can actually get them, from 1992. We got the big 1991 Godzilla. Probably wondering why Solo is there. Again, to bring up my best friend, he actually bought this for me because we found this on Craigslist in where he lives in Albuquerque, and so he went and bought it for me. And that thing sat around his house for quite some time, and so eventually he just started putting like things on it. And Solo was one of those things that he put on there. Him and I are both huge Star Wars buffs, so just kind of a reminder of Ryan to to keep Solo with the big G. That is a Rocket Pro Orange Gamera that I also got from Lulubell's. This is the SIC Decade that we also did a whole episode on. My buddy Oscar got this for me one year for Christmas. So now we come to this shelf. This one gets a little dense. So making their first appearances on this damn show is the King Kong and Mecha Kong tagged that I had talked about in the previous video that we did. Gabara, which we talked about, the YMSF Gabara, and that would be the 1974 Chogokin Mechagodzilla, which I got from Sam in a trade sometime last year, I think like in May. That thing I am in love with. Oh my god. I consider that the definitive Mechagodzilla. That's also something I should have mentioned too. I have tried my best to whittle down all my stuff to just having like the definitive versions of specific characters. Like there's obviously going to be multiples of some characters, but those ones I tend to like more than others, you know? So that's one of the reasons why I can't, you know, justify buying the 75 version of this guy, because it's practically the same toy, and again with some minute differences. Tagged Titanosaurus, Bandai Titanosaurus from 2002. Got him a couple years ago off of a Craigslist ad for 35 bucks. I thought that was a steal. Bunch of little Godzilla things, got little finger puppets. High-grade Gamera, high-grade Gauss, and then this beauty. For my birthday last year, this was my present from, again, the girlfriend. This is a keychain of Reviewer 1 from Apollo Z Hack, character that I got to play, and Kamen Rider, the character that my friend Justin Carmichael, known to many as Jew Wario Online, created. And Justin, again, I know we've talked about this quite a bit on here, but Justin died a little bit over 2 years ago now. And we did a special called Farewell Kamen Rider, where I was actually asked to suit up as FKR. So when she made this for me and I opened it, I was just like, oh my god, like this thing is... I still just leaves me... I don't know, it means an awful lot. Some more high grades, Gearon and Space Scouts, which I got at Comic-Con a couple years ago. Kamacuras, which you guys have already seen in the previous videos, also tagged. We swing down here, and yay, more toys to talk about. The big purple spider is the YMSF Kumanga, which we've actually talked about on here. Right on top of that is the Revoltech Showa 1965 Gamera. Next to him, this is Nightmare Gamera. This was from an unboxing video that TJ Omega and I did. Zetas, he was found in Albuquerque. Never had a toy of him. He's from Gamera the Brave. Yet another thing that the GF made. She made this on our very first date. It was like the day after Valentine's Day last year. So the idea was that we were going to get each other Valentine's gifts. And she actually made this Godzilla, which actually has glow-in-the-dark spikes right there. Even made a box that looked like a destroyed city to put it in. She was all worried that it didn't look enough like Godzilla and all this stuff, that I was going to rip it apart and be like, oh no, this doesn't look like a real design and blah 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 blah. I adore it. I think it's, you know, fairly adorable. High grades, Super X 1 and 2 high grade. And back there, I don't think he's ever been on the show before. That is a YMSF Manda. Oh yeah, and in honor of Brian, Manga! That's Manga back there, folks. The really long thing from Destroy All Monsters. Speaking of YMSF, have the YMSF Hedorah, which we've talked about, including his multiple forms right there and right there. This guy is the Revoltech Gauss that was given to me very graciously by my buddy Zach. And I love this thing. Oh my god. Comes with, you can actually see it right here. Little bean piece that you can fit in the mouth right there. Swinging back down below, this was from my buddy Patrick Simpson. 2 years ago now, he went to MagFest, which is a convention out in Washington, D.C., and wrote me saying, hey, wish you were here, man. Here, I got you a little something. It's a little wind-up 1994 Trendmasters Godzilla. The Bandai Larva Batra, which is not in incredibly good shape, but I really like that monster a lot. The Gargantuas, those guys have actually been, they're in the 2nd year anniversary video. Gorosaurus, tagged, 35 bucks? No, $29, that's how much it was. Toy Anxiety also has an episode dedicated to him, you've seen him on here. 6-inch Jet Jaguar, tagged. Love me some Jet Jaguar. The movie's great. This one's one of my favorites. The 1974 Godzilla. Moving down below, high grade Abera, Megaguirus, Orga, tagged. That was a Christmas present from my ex-girlfriend years ago. YMSF Megalon, also from Albuquerque. I think he's appeared on this show before. Now we're moving down to this mess. Holy hell, what the hell's going on here? So this isn't exactly the best way to display these guys. Some of them are knocked over, but it is what it is. These are all my SH Figuarts of Kamen Rider. We got Agito right there. Kabuto, can you see him? He's kind of doing his clocked up stance. He's right behind Kick Hopper. And you got Kick Hopper. Kamen Rider Ichigo, which was a present from Max this past year. Behind him, you can't really see him quite too well. Right there between Zeto and Nichigo. is Gills from Agito. You got Zeto, which is one of my favorite figure arts I own. Decado, which was actually my very first figure arts ever, also from another ex-girlfriend. Probably the best thing I got out of that relationship. Oh, The End, which was a nice score. He was $30, didn't come with the box, but came with all the accessories. Kuga. Behind there, unfortunately, you can't see him in all his glory, or because I don't have his wings out or anything. Hyper Kabuto. That's probably my favorite final form suit of all the riders. Like, Hyper Kabuto is so badass. Next to him is Shin Kamen Rider, that green grasshopper looking guy. Right next to Shin, unfortunately, is a busted Kamen Rider G3X. He fell one day, and his antenna portion, if you can see that right there, that actually came off. He's very, very fragile, so he just needs a nice little glue job. And then to complete the Agito Rider line, that's another Agito. And behind them, I don't think you can actually see. I mean, you can maybe get the sensation. But that is the Kamen Rider Shin soundtrack CD, the Kamen Rider J soundtrack CD, you can see right there. And then back behind there is the Super Sentai versus Kamen Rider original soundtrack. Got a little bit more Rider stuff going on here. We got J. That is the SIC Wolf Open Rock, I believe, is what it's called, from Kamen Rider 5s. It's a gift from my buddy Oscar, who got me the SIC Decade. Those two guys have been featured here on the show before. Those were thrift finds. Kiva and some, I think it's like rod form of Deno. This was a very generous donation from a fan. This is the only Saban's Masked Rider toy that I have. It's super gold right there. He's missing his antennas, but I don't care. I have found, and I've said this multiple times, I found Kamen Rider toys, Godzilla toys, Ultraman toys, Gamera toys, all of which were Japanese, all of which were in Phoenix thrift stores. Over the years I've been doing the thrifting thing, but I've never, ever have found any of Saban's Masked Rider. What are the chances? Just a mishmash of things. You have a lot of the Superhuman Cyber Samurai little PVC toys. Collected those like when I was a little kid. That Ultraman back there with the blue backdrop, I actually found that. It's a Japanese McDonald's toy that I found at a Goodwill maybe just 4 weeks ago. Speaking of which, those guys right here were also thrift finds. And then you come back here, and unfortunately he's a little off-center, and there's another Ultraman back there. But we have a small collection of VR Trooper toys, which the majority were very graciously donated by a fan and Twitter friend of mine, and that was freaking awesome of him to do. You got those guys, you got a couple Beetleborgs, and then you got, holy crap, you got Sadako over here. And then this is kind of the Power Ranger shelf. Back there is the SH Figure Arts that you could find at Toys R Us a couple years ago of Shinken Red and Gold. You have a couple of Ranger Micro Machines. Now this is like the only complete Ranger team I have here. But this is the complete Super Mega Force lineup of Rangers, aka Gokaiger, whatever. This Morpher goes to Geki Purple, aka the Wolf Ranger from Jungle Fury, and I actually have a figure of him back there. So obviously you would wear this on your wrist, shake it, and it makes like these sounds like you're like punching stuff. Then flip it open. See if I can do this with one hand. See it lights up. It's a little like ring bell thing, because he does like Muay Thai in the show. So you would hit this thing. And it makes that sound. And then to do like, I think like the final move, you press this button. Let it charge up and then shake it. I'm trying to remember the exact details, but from what I recall, my cousin's friend was the stunt actor. He found out I was a fan and then sent me this picture. Let's keep going here. Close this up.